Hey everybody, it's Lisa. Today I'm going to show you some really easy techniques to create background papers for ATCs, greeting cards, scrapbook layouts, whatever you want, using oil pastel crayons. This is an oil pastel crayon. This brand is called Craypaw, made by Sakura. Comes in a lot of different yummy colors, and the oil base for these pastel crayons allows you to really easily smudge the colors together and blend them. They're really fun to work with by themselves, but I'm going to show you a really easy technique for creating this sort of a watercolor wash with the colors really nice and deep and pigmented but blended. And this is a technique I learned from Lisa Yossi, who's the author of Creative Art Concepts for Paper Crafting. And so what we're going to do is start with a blank piece of cardstock, and I've selected some colors, and I'm just going to very randomly lay some color down and get a really good heavy swatch of color on there. Okay, and so I'm just going to very randomly lay some color down. It doesn't have to go all the way out to the edges because you're going to blend that later. Okay, I'll add some yellow, bright yellow in here, like that. Then you're going to take odorless paint thinner. There's a brand called Mona Lisa that's really easy to find in your craft store or art material store. And you're going to take a little odorless paint thinner and put it in a cup. Work in a well-ventilated area. Try to avoid getting this on your hands. If you do, just wash. But I'm just going to use a brush, and I'm going to dip it in there, and then I'm going to blot it on the towel so it's just damp. And I'm going to brush and smudge. And what's happening is that the paint thinner is breaking down the oil binder. And if it gets a little, you can just use it like you would with watercolors and kind of rinse some of it out and smudge the color up here. And I'm just going to smudge this around. Rinse my brush out a little bit, dab it, and just bring the colors together. And I can kind of change the direction I'm going in with my brush and create some streaks of color if I want. So that is all I'm doing, is just smudging the color around until I like what I have. I'm going to use the brush to create some texture and get rid of the streakies. And I'm actually fine with that. And it's really a nice, really bright yellowy orange here. It's kind of a little swatch of a greenish in here. And then a nice, really bright, almost a neon red. It might not look like it on the camera, but in person it is. So now I've got this really cool background. And then I can stamp on it and do whatever I want. So that's that technique. The second technique I want to show you is doing rubbings on rubber stamps. And so you just take the crayon by itself in whatever color you want. This technique works really well on fabric or very thin paper. This happens to be Luchador, which is very thin, and it works quite nicely, and I like the fiber effect along with the rubbing effect. It's very loosely translated. So I've taken a rubber stamp, and you're going to lay the rubber stamp down, and you're going to put your fabric or your thin paper on top of it and hold it down really tight, and you're going to take your crayon with the other hand and just rub on top, and you're going to get the image is going to pop right up, and you can kind of sense where the edges are, and you can decide to do kind of an all over rub and you'll end up with a heavier image right around the edges of the stamp and a lighter around the outside. Or you can be a little more precise and stay right within the lines. You'll see it just pop right up. Works well with a variety of stamps. I did it with this lady stamp, and it's a much looser translation of it, but I think it gives a really interesting texture. And with the butterflies, I did it again on the luchador with the darker color, and you can see a little more detail. I did it on a piece of colored vellum with a brighter color. So you can just get some really nice punchy colors and a really soft textural effect, and you can make some really nice embellishments for your cards and scrapbook layouts with this rubbing technique. And that is all I have to show you. So I hope you'll give it a try. It's always nice to try new things and get different colors and textures. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. Bye-bye.